cars are getting ready to go out onto the grid in the final Mazda MX-5 Championship race. This is race 3B, and the sun is still shining, Lyndsay.
Yes, it is, thank goodness. We have Oliver Robinson on pole, who has never started on pole before, so we're wishing him the best of luck. So Jake, over to you.
Thank you, Lyndsay and Lloyd. This is the final race of the weekend for the B group. And as you say, Oliver Robinson has never started from pole before. He lines up beside Nick Ledoyen, Chisnell and Hawkins on the second row from Andrew McGregor and Marcus Bailey, then Matthew Pollard and Thomas Jenkins on the fourth row. And Richard Wooten and Chris Stapleton still joined at the hip, rounding out the top 10. Hughes and Neil McGregor, Hayden and Burge, Griffiths and Hutchins are the next in line. And then rounding out the grid, we have Graham Rumsey and George Grant, Richard Bartlett and Dale Whiteman, and Orlando Lyndsay from the recovering Jonathan Fields end. Now, obviously, that second race was rained off after an absolutely apocalyptic downfall. You can still see the remnants of it off to the pit wall. There's still damp patches around the circuit. It is still technically a wet meeting, but they have still got to battle through the greasy, damp conditions. Let's race for the last time. Good start from Robinson. Nick Ledoyen's got a slightly better getaway, though. A much better getaway. And there's carnage in the midfield. There's big contact. That's the 35 that's gone into the wall. That is Paul Hughes. And he's got two in there with him. Bryn Griffiths narrowly avoiding the problems. But unfortunately, it looks like George Grant is in the mix. So there's already a couple of cars in danger, and we could get a red flag. Yes, we do. Red flag. So red flag. The race is stopped almost immediately, and that has not gone well for the two drivers involved in that one. So unfortunately, the 35 there, very badly damaged. So obviously the race is going to need to be restarted. Paul Hughes out of the danger for the moment, but the race will be a fresh restart. Here we go. Now, Nick Ledoyen got a good start the first time around. Can he do it again the second time? Well, this time it is an even better getaway for the man on pole position, Oliver Robinson. Can he hold it to the inside line? It is a cracking start. And round the outside, there is going to be some very interesting battles. But it looks like this time everybody is away cleanly. So we've got away with that one, no problem at all. Oliver Robinson, your leader. Ledoyen in second place. Third is Andrew McGregor. What a start from McGregor from the third row. And then we got Hutchins in there battling away with Bryn Griffiths in the mid-pack as they go through Cascades once again. We're on board with Chris Stapleton, and he's already trying to pick up a place or two. He's inside Tom Jenkins and makes the move, no problem at all there. Can he now get on terms with the man in front of him? I think that's Adrian Burge. Oh, Jenkins is still there, and there's a spin right in front of us. Oh dear, that is Chisnell. Clive Chisnell. Very, very lucky that was just a nudge in the barriers, really. He might even be able to get the car going again. And there's another spin in the middle of all of that. Now, who was that went with him? That is the 722 of Alan Hawkins. So the pair of them going together. And Hawkins clearly having some damage. So too, of course, Clive Chisnell. But the pair of them going off together in unison. Really exciting stuff and a very interesting battle. So into the chicane they come. And the race leader, Oliver Robinson, no problem at all for the moment. As the race continues on, Ledoyen there in second position. The 17 is next up. That's Andrew McGregor. And then in fourth position, that looks to me like Marcus Bailey, the 54. As they go up over the top of Clay Hill once again. So absolutely terrific racing from these guys as they keep battling on this opening lap. Greasy track conditions, but you can still see a little bit of the patches of standing water on the outside of the circuit. Lots of races over the course of the day, of course, and that's made things a little bit easier for the track to be dried out. This is Chris Stapleton having a good battle. That's for sixth position, but there's no more promotion and relegation. We're in the third and final race of the weekend, so it's just an all-out battle as up the inside. That is a good tussle with the 55, trying to make progress up through the field. Can Pollard get there? Oh, he's really having to work hard for it as he cuts across and maintains that third position. So Pollard is there in third on the inside of Andrew McGregor once again. So really exciting battle as Pollard continues in the mix. So he is there in third place as he battles down the straight. Terrific race for Matthew Pollard this as he holds on in front of McGregor. He's had a very interesting battle thus far, Matthew Pollard, all the way through the weekend. So we're good to see him in the mix here, gunning for a final victory of the weekend to bow out with if he can get there. But he's got Robinson and Ledoyen to go to battle with before he can even think about that. So the 55 of Matthew Pollard, who obviously was very much involved in that wet weather race earlier on. And Pollard obviously now finding himself in the midst of the battle. racing very hard indeed. And in there in 4th position is the 17 of Andrew McGregor. So McGregor in 4th position, looking good for a top 5 finish to end his weekend at the very least. If not able to do it in the first 2, you want to at least end your weekend on a good high. So Robinson and Ledoyen still your leaders. Pollard in 3rd position, 4th place still Andrew McGregor. And then the 5th place battle, well, that's getting close, isn't it? Marcus Bailey and Adrian Burge having a good little squabble. Burge trying to outbreak the 54 of Marcus Bailey, but Bailey is well versed in putting off a good move. And into his lop, he got it absolutely nailed. Out of Knickerbrook they go, and on the climb up Clay Hill once again. Superb racetrack, this one of the real old school British racetracks in this fantastic British Racing and Sports Car Club 2018 season. I love Oulton Park. I only live 10 miles down the road from this circuit. It is one of the most beautiful you are going to find in Great British Motorsport, and it doesn't matter what is racing here, whether it be British touring cars, British GTs, or of course the Mazda MX-5 Championship. It is always incredible, very exciting, and gives the drivers a real thrill. They love coming here, they love racing at Oulton Park. It's a real technical challenge as much as it is a driver's circuit, and we get some great racing from it, as you can see. So Adrian Burge once again trying to close up the battle on Marcus Bailey. Still going to be pushing very hard indeed. Here's Anthony Hutchins trying to find his way on the inside of the 45 of Rumsey. So Rumsey still hanging on to the position. Whoops! Bryn Griffiths goes a bit of grass tracking there, and he got a little bit of air. Did you see the 2 wheels come off the floor? Just waving to the marshals as he went past. That's fine, I'm all right, don't worry. Rumsey chasing him down now as they go through Cascades. And again, Bryn Griffiths goes off the circuit. Goodness me, he's really struggling to keep this car on the road. He's obviously been pushing very hard all weekend, and this is the part of the circuit when drivers will push very hard indeed. Here comes Rumsey up the inside. No chance. Bryn Griffiths is not going to give him that one. There's overtaking moves, and then there's just rolling over and playing dead. And Bryn Griffiths ain't going to do that for nobody. Through Shell Oils, and then up the stretch towards Britain's. Once again, Hutchins is in there behind them, looking for his own way to go through. There's Graham Rumsey. He's had a bit of a chaotic weekend as well. He's been in good battles in the war zone and dodging out of danger several times through the course of this weekend. He's been very solid and consistent with it. Oh, a nice dummy tried to be sold there by Marcus Bailey, but clearly McGregor doesn't need to be pacified. They come off the chicane at Hislops into Knickerbrook once again through the right-hander, and Bailey's going to need to try another trick, because I think it's very clear that McGregor knew that one and saw it coming. Up around Clay Hill. Now he's going to go the long way round. If he's got good speed off the turn, he can carry that speed all the way round to the outside and nip the inside for Druids, and he's done it. That's beautiful. Really committed work there from Bailey to get through on the inside line. Beautifully done. Not much of a response, and actually the same move is being pulled off there by Will Hayden as he continues his comeback drive on Rumsey. So he works his way forward. Let's not forget that Will Hayden started his weekend in the A group, had a miserable race in that first A group race, ended up down in the B group, and then obviously ended up as a white submarine. All the others were submarines, of course, but depending on which coloured car they were driving, you couldn't really tell who each drivers were. As Nick Ledoyen very nearly goes wide there, flirts with the barrier, flirts with the curb, I should say, on the outside. If he was flirting with the barrier, he'd be well off the grass, but Nick Ledoyen keeping it under wraps for the moment. But no, just to come back to Will Hayden, he's had to fight through the torrential rain of race 2, still didn't quite place because he was on the front end of the grid for that first start, and then spun it away in the first corner, and has now made up good progress to charge his way further forward. There is Nick Ledoyen, second position, still chasing after that man in the lead, Oliver Robinson, and with pressure from Matthew Pollard, the 55. So it's these three who look like they're going to contest the final race of the weekend: Robinson, Ledoyen and Pollard. And there is the 55, Matthew Pollard, still running well. They get themselves into the chicane once again. Up through the curbs, down on the road once again. A good little tussle between these three as they come up and over Hilltop. Once again on the run down towards the Hislop chicane. And still, Oliver Robinson is proving to be quite a decent roadblock in front of Nick Ledoyen. He's looking left, he's looking right. There's no way this guy's going to just give him the place. He's got to wrestle for it. And at the moment, the Mazda MX-5 is giving him plenty of grip, good confidence, a good solid drive at the moment. So there's no major reason to be concerned from their point of view. He's still doing an absolutely fine and dandy job. So they come through the left-hand flick once again. Great racing. Ooh, bit of a twitch there, guys. Bit of a twitch. But manages to get the car together. So down they come once again here at Oulton Park, over the crest and up towards the final turn at Lodge. This is going to be really interesting to see how this develops as they continue to battle. Good racing, good racecraft. Up and over Dearly once again, through to the left sweep. And then over the line once more. Still the victory is being debated between these three, but we are seriously running out of time. There's only going to be about 3 laps left of this, as Oliver Robinson leads the way from Nick Ledoyen, who once again gets that very wide Mazda through the very wide line through an Old Hall, but he's carried the speed, and now Robinson's going to have to go defensive on the inside line, and that might have put Robinson wide. It hasn't. Nick Ledoyen's actually had to get off the throttle there. And now Pollard is in the mix and joining them. That's a 4th driver into the mix. That, I think, is going to be a change of lead further up the road, though, as they continue to battle, Robinson and Ledoyen. 3rd is still Pollard, and 4th is still Bailey. So Marcus Bailey round the outside. That's going to be brave if he can hold that on Ledoyen. Is that going to be a change for 2nd place? Pollard keeps it to the outside. He's still there. He's still there, side by side, and here comes Bailey trying to move up to 3rd position. Well, it was a brave effort, but he's never going to get round the outside of Shell Oil's hairpin in the dry. In the wet, he might have had an opportunity to Gary Mulgrave, and Ledoyen spins in front of both of them. He skates off the road, and that has put Bailey into 3rd position because he ended up getting held up there in the initial charge to come past Pollard. So Pollard is through to 2nd, Bailey down to 3rd, but Ledoyen ends up throwing himself off the racetrack in the battle for the top 3. That is devastating. Your heart pours out to Nick Ledoyen. He was working so hard there and looked as though 2nd place was definitely on the cards. But unfortunately, it's just one of those moments. It's a tricky corner, Britons. It's a tough chicane. And if you just get one wheel on the grass when you're already accelerating up out of that left flick to get onto the straight, running up towards the hilltop, that's when the car is at its most vulnerable, both aerodynamically cutting through the air at that point, and also momentum-wise, because the car is already shifting its weight transfer. The weight transfer is obviously shifting the weight of the car further to the front due to the power that's coming from the rear wheels, so it's always going to be tricky. So into the last lap we go, and it looks to me as though Robinson is going to have this absolutely nailed to the mast. He's doing an absolutely brilliant job, as we've come to expect from him. He's been absolutely brilliant. And at the moment, it looks like it's going to be Pollard there in 2nd place in front of Marcus Bailey. Your heart has to go out to Nick Ledoyen, who worked very hard, but it's a very easy part of the circuit to go off at when you're in the middle of a battle, and unfortunately, he ended up being the one spat out of the queue. But Oliver Robinson is looking good for a victory. He never started a race from pole position until today, and looking for a victory in Group B, and it looks as though Bailey is going to make the move there to get up into 2nd position past Pollard. Kind of want to swing back actually and see if Pollard has got the job done to hold him at bay, or if Bailey has managed to snatch 2nd place off him. We'll find out shortly. There is Bailey in front. So Bailey has got Pollard on the last lap into 2nd. Now Oliver Robinson needs to step on this because Bailey's actually going pretty quick on this last lap. He may even be able to catch him towards the end of the lap. I don't think he's going to have the time to get past him, but Bailey is clearly a man on the mission. He's up to 2nd. He can see that Robinson is still there up in front, but not by much, so he's going to be stepping on it. Robinson will check his mirrors and he'll suddenly see, that's not Pollard anymore. Pollard is there, but it's Bailey in 2nd, so he looks pretty motivated. I'm going to charge into Knickerbrook. Balancing the car perfect. This is a great little run from Oliver Robinson to end his weekend exactly how he wanted to. He never really wanted to be in the B group. He's still making as much progress as he possibly can, but this is going to be a very nice way to finish the job, unless something were to befall. I don't want the commentator's curse to hit him on the last lap, but Robinson is looking good at the moment. Bailey's still there in 2nd. 3rd is the 55 of Matthew Pollard, and for the moment it looks as though it's not going to change. Down to Lodge. Robinson just needs to keep it neat and tidy, do what he's already done for the last 15 minutes or so, and into the final turns. This is a great finish to the weekend for Robinson. He's worked so hard for it, and Oliver Robinson takes the 3rd race of the weekend victory. Brilliant result. 2nd place for Marcus Bailey, a fighting drive. 3rd place, a warrior's effort from the third place man there, Matthew Pollard. And across the line, the rest of the field are going to go quite serenely through in the end of it all. A very exciting battle here to finish us off, and some great driving, some good comeback drives as well. Looks like Griffiths and Stapleton both made up an awful lot of places. Hutchins kept himself out of trouble that time as well. So great racing in the third and final reckoning from the Mazda MX-5. Those stricken ones towards the end continue on their way, but Marcus Bailey is given the victory at the end of it as a time penalty is handed to Robinson. So Pollard is second, Robinson third, from Hayden, Burge and McGregor in the top six. Notable by their comeback drives. Good to see Nick Ledoyen finishing 14th in the end after a tough race, but retirements unfortunately from Richard Wootton, Paul Hughes and Neil McGregor. So a gift-wrap victory to Marcus Bailey, who also set the fastest lap.
Marcus, congratulations on your victory. It was a tough race out there.
It was a tough race. I had a great start on the first start, and when the Reds come out, gutted. Second start, went to catch second, straight into fourth. Everybody swamped me. Sitting on the line before, I noticed the smoke coming out from underneath the bonnet, and I thought, what's that? I just went for it, picked them off, gutted that Nick Ledoyen spun in front of me in the first hairpin, which I thought had cost me the win. But we get here and find out Oliver's jumped the start, lift the bonnet, and the oil caps come off. So if we wouldn't have been able to run a 20-minute race, it would have detonated the engine. So awesome.
A little bit of luck there for you, but a well-deserved victory, and we look forward to seeing you next time out.
We'll be there.
Well done from us here with the BRSCC team. Talk us through the race.
It was a mad race, really. Obviously, it was shortened to 12 minutes, so it was a mad rush to the end, really. And my focus was to make up as many positions as I can. And I was in first at one point, obviously, because I think Oliver had a penalty, but the front just went away, and I had understeer through the chicanes. But I took what I got in the end. But it was a good race. I was really happy with it, and it was fun. So that's what matters.
Do you think you would have got Marcus if you had that extra time?
A little bit more experience, a little bit more seat time, and the front end at 6, and then we reckon we could have had a good scrap. But I was happy with it, and he did a great pass for me down the hairpin. So fair play to him. He's a great driver. I can't argue with that. So I'm happy.
So will this propel you into coming joining us at Silverstone?
Oh yeah. Well, definitely I'll be at Silverstone. Yeah, looking forward to that one.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oliver, just a little bit of a creep there. That must be gutting.
It was very gutting, yeah. I knew I'd done it. I had a poor start in the first start, and then I thought, right, I'll have it this time, and just crept it. And then that was that. I knew I'd done it. When I was told at the end, I'd forgotten in the race because that was a bit hectic, but no, it's all good.
And as you say, it was such a hectic race as well, and that would have been a lovely way to finish the weekend. Just unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate. Would have been my first, so I've done third and second, but not first. Hey.
Something to aim for next time out at Silverstone, maybe?
Absolutely, yeah, I'll be there.
Look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you, cheers.
And with that, we wrap up the action here at Oulton Park in the Mazda MX-5 Championship.
Yes, I hope you do come back and join us at the next time at Silverstone for more action.